Hello, vinyl community. Mike from My Guitar Player 07 here, coming at you live with another vinyl record video, another collaborative one at that as well, with the one and only Melinda Murphy.
Hey everybody, how are you doing?
Now, yeah, we got another fun collab coming at you guys today. It's been the VC trend lately, and no matter how long they are, apparently they're the videos that I get the most hits on. So, no complaints.
Cool. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's funny. I have a video of that length with just me. I get maybe 15 to 30 views, but now I'm getting 100 plus on them. So, hey, no complaints.
That's cool. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but you and I are pretty good friends. We text each other and we have sent each other records. And our friendship probably began about a year ago.
Almost.
When you joined the vinyl community, you reached out to me. So I've really appreciated your friendship.
Oh, yeah,
And I'm
glad.
looking forward to doing this. This is my first one to do with somebody else. So I thought this was, I'm really excited. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, without a doubt. I actually have to plug in my laptop. I just realized that it's running low on battery. We were talking a lot before this, so
Yes.
and doing schoolwork before that. So bunch of
Oh, I'm so glad I don't have to do schoolwork anymore.
yeah. Now you have to go into the real world and have a real job.
I have a real job, yes. So, but man, I don't miss schoolwork.
I I would be enjoying it more if it wasn't all online like it's become now.
Right. My daughter's supposed to be starting medical school in the fall. I'm a little nervous for her. Do you think they're actually going to start school? Do you think there will be real school, or do you think it's going to be an online thing like it is now?
I'm it's hard to say as of this moment. A lot could happen in the next couple months. However, based on all the projections that I'm hearing, just based on the music industry side of things and how they're running and thinking and learning about the science with the whole concert industry, I'm thinking that it's probably going to be all online next fall.
Oh, I hope not, but we'll see. I guess, it'll be what it'll be. So.
It's definitely going to be interesting. And I just noticed you're sporting a David Bowie shirt. I didn't realize that until now.
Yes, Bowie. I love David Bowie. Although he won't be represented tonight, I do love David Bowie, and I love the Ziggy Stardust album. It's one of my favorites. But
Oh, yes.
it will not be represented tonight, but I do love it a lot.
Right. And that brings us to what today's topic is, actually, because today's topic, 5 desert island albums.
Yes,
And
yes. And yet, when I did a desert island video last year, I had people in the comments say it's deserted island, not desert island. So just whichever one you prefer.
I feel like both
Some
work.
people call it desert island, others call it a deserted island. So it really doesn't matter, does it?
I feel like both work. I mean,
Mhm.
if it becomes a time where you get shipwrecked, then you're like Gilligan's Island, you know, even though somehow they managed to get all that technology on that island, no matter how long they're stranded there. And then there's you're just stuck on an island. You just plop there somehow. I don't know.
Exactly. And what I did is I picked records randomly, like how I feel today. If I had to leave my house today and go on a deserted or desert island, which 5 records would I choose? And so what I showed on my video a year ago doesn't necessarily reflect the ones I picked today. So,
Yeah, this was difficult. I definitely chose 5 that are essential, but I would have much rather maybe 10, 15, 20, as I'm sure
I
we all.
know.
It
I
was
know. And if you look in the background, I cheated a little bit. This was kind of an honorable mention in the background. It is Cosmos Factory by Creedence Clearwater Revival. I absolutely love that album. I think it's absolutely amazing. I don't really even like the song Heard It Through the Grapevine, but I love the version that is on that album. It's really, really long, but it's really good. So I put that up there. It's kind of my little cheat. It's my number 6, I guess,
there you go.
since we're just going for 5. So
I do think that CCR's version of Heard It Through the Grapevine is better than Marvin's, in my opinion, as well. So,
yes, I mean, I don't really care for the other versions of it, but I love it on there. So
right. Well, I don't have the vinyl record version right next to me, but since you did an honorable mention, I figured, well, I'm going to pull this honorable mention.
Okay.
George Harrison's All Things Must Pass.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, I love that one. And yeah, it's definitely in my top 20 albums of my collection. Absolutely love it.
This and Dark Horse, it's a hard tie for me. Harrison.
I'm not as familiar with Dark Horse. I need to give it a little more, a better listen, but I really do love All Things Must Pass. I think it's absolutely perfect. It's just a perfect album. I love that slide guitar. I think George Harrison, if he wasn't in the band with John Lennon and Paul McCartney, I mean, he would have been the lead singer for sure, and the writer of the band. But because he was with so much immense talent, you know, I mean, you
Right.
can't beat Paul and John. So, but I love that one. That's a wonderful honorable mention.
It's
So,
fantastic. And one I recently got on vinyl record too. It was interesting. I got it on vinyl record. Tunes from the Man Cave. Chris hooked me up. I got it from him that he got through Noble Records. And then I got hooked up about a month or two later from David Newton getting the CD version. And I'm telling you, that was a grail album on both formats. I couldn't find it in good condition or a decent condition or decent price on either format. So I'm thrilled to have it now.
yeah, I found that one pretty early in my collection, but it's missing the poster. Do you have the poster?
I have the poster and the booklet of the CD, but I don't have like the it on the record. Like the book,
Right.
I don't know if you have the CD version, but in the book it has it. But
Yes, and I don't really think it's that great of a poster. It's not like a great picture of George to begin with, but I think it's always cool to have the poster when you have a record, and I do not have the poster of it. But my records play absolutely perfectly, so I've never wanted to change it up or get something different. So I'm content with what I have, but
yeah,
I love that album.
if I ever find a poster, I'll be thrilled. But I don't know if I'd want to have to. There are some albums, like for example, I don't have Purple Rain on vinyl record. I only have that on CD. But if I had it on vinyl record and I didn't have it with the poster, and then I found a copy with the poster for a decent price, that's one that I would probably like do the upgrade and switcheroo, whatever kind of thing. All
Yeah.
Things Must Pass, due to the fact of its price, due to the fact that it's a 3 LP. I'm not sure if I would ever do it.
Exactly. Yeah, I've seen it and I've had the opportunity to buy a new copy of it, but I've never done it because I'm not going to pay $30 or $40 for just the poster when I already have perfectly good records. So
Right.
anyway,
If you want to spend that on a poster, yeah, I mean, I've spent that on a poster, but it was an original 1983 The Wall movie promotional poster. So
yeah, that's a little bit better. I agree. That's money well spent.
yeah, it was the most expensive poster I've ever purchased, but understandably so.
Exactly. Yes.
So you are the guest, so I'll let you choose your and show your first pick first.
Okay, here's my first pick. If I went on a deserted island, I would have to have my Led Zeppelin 2, and it is the Robert Ludwig hot mix, so I would want to have that one. I absolutely love it. I was just listening to it earlier tonight, and Whole Lot of Love is one of my favorite songs of all time, so I would have to choose uh, the Robert Ludwig hot mix of Led Zeppelin 2. Absolutely love it. Um, it's just
That's
a perfect album for me. I love the drum solo that's in it. I love the harmonica at the end. I love Ramble On, the Lemon Song. It's just really an incredible record for me. It's my favorite Led Zeppelin album, so I would want to take that one with me.
Live and Love and Mate is one of my favorite Zeppelin tunes, and that's the one I thought you were going to choose if it was going to be a Zeppelin album. That's what I thought, and yeah,
Yeah.
I need a Robert Ludwig one. That's one of the few albums that I feel I need to have two copies of, the standard version and the Robert one.
That's right. Yes, and I do love Physical Graffiti too. That one's really awesome, and Led Zeppelin 3 is really great. They're all Led Zeppelin 4, of course. Obviously, everybody loves that one too. But for me personally, I just love the way Whole Lot of Love. I just love the way it plays through my speakers. I just think it's a really cool sounding record, and I just really enjoy it. So that one would be my first pick of what I would grab. Honestly, I don't have these in order of preference. I just grabbed 5. So this is one of the 5.
Yeah, I didn't choose any particular order either. Whole Lot of Love is actually one I just recently learned how to play on guitar. So
Oh, cool. Wow. That's good. All right. So you're up. What would you choose?
well, anybody who's been watching my channel knows that Led Zeppelin is one of my favorite bands of all time. So since you chose the Zeppelin one, I figured I might as well choose the Zeppelin one and show my Zeppelin one.
Okay.
Um, you know, of my favorite bands and groups and artists, Led Zeppelin is the one that's the most painful to rank a discography of. And the only reason I chose this one is because of how good it is. Yeah, it's overrated or overhyped at times, but it's the one that it's one of those albums that there's a reason behind it. Obviously, we already know what I'm talking about. It's Zeppelin 4.
Yeah, there you go.
But
And that's
there
one in your top 5.
Yeah, and this is not my favorite Zeppelin album. However,
Oh,
if I was stuck on an island, I would want this
uh-huh.
one.
Yes. Yeah, it's a great choice. I love the music of that one. I like the inside of that. I don't love the outer cover of that album. Do you? What do you think about the outer cover? I think they could have, I don't know, for such a classic album. Now that side's nice, but just that front cover has
You,
never been my favorite. But yeah, I mean, you
you know,
can't beat it. It's really good.
I mean, I like the cover, and I think that comes in part because of the cool story that comes with it, or I guess lack thereof cool story. I mean, it's an interesting story that comes with it, but is it the best? Well, it's not as iconic as I guess it is as iconic, really. But there's things
Yeah.
like physical
Right.
graffiti where you like really associate with the band too. But like, people say that this is a very boring album cover, and I. But those same people say that the President's album cover is iconic. It's pretty much the same thing.
It's just a family sitting around a table with this black thing in front of them. Yeah.
Right?
But
Yeah. When I first got Presents, I always thought that statue and all those images, it always intrigued me. Like seventh grade me was always intrigued by Presents, the little statue. But
mhm.
yeah, and actually, I just learned this story from Rachel over at the Music Man, and I don't know it as well as her. And I just watched this video last night, actually, when
Oh,
she
okay.
posted it. She told the story of how this cover came to be because pretty much, and the minimalisticness of the entire album sleeve as a whole, because pretty much in short, no, not Robert Plant, Jimmy Page was not happy with how Zeppelin 3 was um, released and the acclaim it got and all that stuff because it wasn't doing that well. And he said, pretty much, I want a minimalistic thing. I don't want the band name on it. I don't want anything on it. I just want a random photo and random images and all that. There's not a single piece of writing on this album, with the exception of the sign that's on the back of this building here, but you can't even make it out. Um,
Right.
so
What's
pretty
your
much,
favorite songs on that one? What are your favorite songs?
well, this is one of those albums that I would deem to be flawless. I'm not gonna lie. It's cool. It has that custom Zoe Slow and all
Yeah,
those.
it's
Like,
cool.
you know, the song that always, rather than hits, the songs that always really stood out to me were Misty Mountain Hop and Going to California.
Uh-huh.
But of course, who doesn't love Black Dog, Rock and Roll, Battle of Evermore, Stairway to Heaven? I'm just going to list them all. I might as well because it's a pretty much
Right. Right.
fantastic. When the Levee Breaks has one of the best drumming that Zeppelin's ever done, or John,
Exactly. Yes.
Four Sticks. I mean, the entire album is perfect.
Hmm.
This copy has the
We
original.
both picked a Led Zeppelin album.
Oh yeah, and this has the original enter. My very first copy of this did not have the original enter, and I was very unhappy.
Oh,
Needless
yeah.
to say, I got the it with it. But I would have to say, rather than the hits that I love, I'd probably say Misty Mountain Hopping, Going to California, with the honorable mention of John strumming on When the Levee Breaks. And
No.
yeah, and going back to the story with the album cover a little bit more, the pretty much Page wouldn't give the Atlantic the rights to the master tapes for the album until they agreed to his terms, which they reluctantly did to do a very minimalistic album cover and everything, which was also interesting.
Very cool. Well, that was a good choice. I guess I'll go ahead with my second choice.
Oh yes.
This one will not surprise anybody. This is Odyssey and Oracle by the Zombies.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this particular copy is the 30th anniversary copy that came out in 1999. It was cut by the original analog tapes. It sounds absolutely fantastic, and I just absolutely love this one. Everybody knows Time of the Season on here, but I mean, I just really love, this is just one of those records that you just listen to and relax and chill. I
Mhm.
love the song Carousel 44. That's my favorite song on here. And it actually was in my top 20 favorite songs of all time. I did a couple videos not that long ago, but a song called Rose for Emily, Beechwood Park, Friends of Mine. I just absolutely love this album. It's the singing, Colin Bloomstone's voice is incredible. And I just think this is an absolutely wonderful classic record. And I just highly recommend it. I really love it. It's just one of those just chill and relax ones. There's no heavy rockers on this one, but
I'm the
it's just
same.
a
I'm the
really
same.
cool, chill vibe kind of record. And I really love it. I love the cover and I just love everything about it. My dream would be to find a first press on the Date label. I have not found one. I do have a second press, but the cover's different on it, and it's not as pretty as this cover is.
That one with the guy on it with the squares and all that.
Yeah, this guy right here's on it. It's a lot bigger.
Right.
And I just don't love the cover of that one as much, but I do have, it's on the Date label, and it does have a really good sound. It sounds great, but this one really for the 30th anniversary, they did a really good job on it. I believe it's a UK press. It's just something I was lucky enough to find in a record store, and I've just always really liked it. And I have bought Colin Bloomstone. He was the lead singer for the Zombies. I have bought a solo album of his, but I just haven't really got into it the way I get into this. I just really love this one.
Which
And I really loved everything the Zombies did. So
which Blundstone album did you get?
I don't remember the title of it. It
Okay.
wasn't his first. It was something a little bit further down the line. I'd have to go pull it to look at it again. But I've listened to it a couple times. It must have came out in the 80s because it has that 80s sound that hasn't aged very well.
Okay. I don't remember what, I know he has a bunch of in the 90s and early 2000s, and a couple of years ago he has a few, and he I think did one with Rod Argent as well. But
That would be cool. And my dream would be to be able to go see them in concert and them sign this album. I would absolutely love to have an autographed album by them. Or there was there was a book they wrote, and I wish I had bought it. I didn't catch it in time where they had autographed the book, and I wish I would have caught that. But this is just really a very special album for me.
so as I think you probably have already known since you watch my videos, my internship this past semester was working for the Zombies.
What is that?
My past internship this semester was working for the Zombies.
I did not know that.
No.
I don't know how I didn't know that because I watch your videos. That's very cool.
Yes. So actually, they still have one of those hardcover books. They still have a couple, at least when I was there, still available for sale, the autographed ones.
Well, if you can
And
hook me up with buying one of them, I would love it. I would love to have
they,
one of
they
them.
sell them on their website. They have it on the website that
Well,
you
last time I checked, they were out of stock, but I guess I need to check back again, huh?
well, I know that they had them there. Their website might not have been updated at that time, or they had gotten more in. I do not know because I don't know when you looked. But my whole time, the past couple months being there until a couple weeks ago, they had at least 2 or 3 copies of that. If it's the same book we're both thinking of, still there.
Isn't it
And
an Odyssey and Oracle, like this cover, something
yeah,
like
it's very
that?
similar. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to look that up then. If they have it, I'm going to buy it then. So I'll check it out after we're done here. That's cool.
After we're done here, I'll show you what I'm talking about because if you go on their social media, there's a photo of one of their merch photos that they posted. I took the photo. So,
Oh, that's so cool. I don't know how I missed that by watching your videos. That's
but
very cool.
and they
So have you met the band?
that I have not,
Okay.
but I have indirectly talked to Colin Blunstone.
Oh, very cool.
But they sell reissues of Odyssey and Oracle and their greatest hits signed for 50
That
bucks
would
each.
be,
So
that would be awesome. Okay, well, this is my number 2. So you go ahead and go on with your second choice.
okay, this one was the most. This was the band that it was the most difficult for me to choose. There was between 2 albums because I know what my top 3 albums are by this band. However, 2 of them are pretty much neck and neck, and it came down to one song that made me grab this one versus the other. And this is one that I wouldn't be surprised if you pulled now, due to the fact that it's the stuff that you would like today. You might not have
Okay.
pulled this one. However, on a normal day, I feel like this would have been definitely in your list. Abbey Road.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I love that one. That's one of my favorites, but I did not pick it for this video just because there's another one that I've been listening to and really getting into lately. But obviously, Abbey Road is amazing.
The other one that was very close to being pulled was the White Album, but this one is what got pulled.
So
And
tell me what you love about Abbey Road.
well, again, this is one of those nearly no, it's not nearly flawless. It is flawless. My only complaint about this album is Her Majesty. I don't love that, but it's a cool little quirk to the album that I'm just like, okay.
Well,
Um,
I always forget about it. So then when I go to take the record off, it startles me, you know, because I forget about that that's coming up, and then it'll startle me because I think the record's over,
yeah,
you
I think
know.
there's a 40-second pause, I think, between.
Yes.
But what I love about this album, on top of, I think it's one of their best produced albums, production wise.
Mhm.
Um, the song that made me choose this album versus the White Album was the song "Carry That Weight," part of the big
Yeah.
medley. Um,
Yes.
because even though, I mean, obviously, big medley as a whole is freaking fantastic, but that song alone, because it's coming out of this somber and really deep Golden Slumbers tune.
Yes.
Then it goes into the joyous, silly, fun, give me that weight. And I mean, I know how to play both tunes on piano, so I love that song's just about as fun as Oobla Dee Oobla Da, in my opinion.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Um,
it is. I love that whole medley and that very ending. It's really incredible. I think my favorite song right now, which it changes, but I really love that I Want You, She's So Heavy.
oh
I
yeah,
just think that's such an incredible song. It's so simple. He basically is singing the same lyrics over and over again, but I just love the groove of it. And John Lennon is so cool. And I just love that. And of course, you can't beat George Harrison. George Harrison just absolutely shines on that album. It's
I
so
I,
fantastic.
I love the guitar playing in "I Want You, She's So Heavy." Um,
Yes, me too. It's
but
so cool.
the entire album, that's another thing I really like about this. I mean, I like the other George Harrison songs on the other albums, but I think that he's finally showcased the way he deserves to be in this. And I believe, I don't remember if it was Paul or Lennon, one of them said, well, damn, we should have had him featured the whole time.
I think he just came into his own at that point. Really, I just think yeah, those songs are incredible. Just some of the biggest and best songs by the Beatles. Just love it.
Yeah.
So
And you know, even though Let It Be and the Hey Jude comp came after this album, I truly would kind of say that this was kind of their goodbye album.
it
And
is. Mhm.
with that, I just love how they end this album, with the exception of Her Majesty, like the last like serious song on the album. The
Mhm.
end, the way it ends, obviously it's a
Yeah.
fantastic ending of an album. It's just as good as the way the Rolling Stones end Let It Bleed with You Can't Always Get What You Want. It's just one of those
Yeah.
perfect endings of an album.
Mhm.
And I just really love the message that they have. You never truly get the love you deserve, or whatever that line is.
The love you take is the love you make.
Yeah, something among those
It's
lines.
a beautiful lyric. It's the finale. It's like the most beautiful, perfect lyric that I'm probably not even quoting it correctly, but
Well, you did better than I did with quoting it.
it's perfect. Yeah, it is just absolutely gorgeous. And in the end, the love you make is, or the love you take is the love you make. It's a beautiful
Yeah,
ending to
yeah, you
a
definitely got the
fabulous
lyrics better than
career.
I did. But I'm telling you, like, even with all the turmoil they were dealing with, even during this time, even though it was not as bad as the White Album sessions or all that, or the Get Back sessions, like, them to be able to create that during this time is amazing. And
And
going
I'm
back,
looking forward to the Let It Be movie that's going to be coming out. Hopefully, it'll come out this year. I don't know. Now that everything has just kind of exploded, so who knows? But that's an excellent choice. So,
And going back to the George Harrison thing for a moment, with him being featured on this, I almost think that with the White Album, him saying Eric Clapton is playing on this song and there's nothing you guys can do about it, I think that also gave him some bragging rights to be featured a little bit more here too.
yeah, yeah. Well, he did a very good. He had some of the real highlights of the White Album as well. So.
Oh yeah. But
All right, so moving on to number 3 for me. And like I said, these are not in any particular order, but I have to have some Van Halen in here. And I'm going to go with Women and Children first. This is absolutely probably, it's so hard for me. It's like picking your favorite kid. I don't know. I just love all of the Van Halen albums. There's just not a bad one in the bunch for me. Even the Hagar era is really great to me, but the Roth era is where it's at. And this is just an incredible one when you get In the Cradle Will Rock, Romeo Delight. I don't know if you've ever heard that song, but I absolutely love it. And In a Simple Rhyme is one of my favorites. Loss of Control is fabulous, and Everybody Wants Some is killer. It just really shows off the incredible drums of Alex Van Halen and David Lee Roth singing, and the way he talks through that one is incredible. I love Michael Anthony's harmonies. He's just he's just the perfect person to harmonize with. He's got the best harmonizing voice out there. And then, of course, you get Eddie in there with his guitar, who I absolutely love him. Somebody asked if there's an artist you would want to meet, dead or alive, who would you choose? The alive one would be Eddie or Paul McCartney. And, of course, the one that's passed away would be John Lennon. But I just absolutely love Eddie Van Halen and his guitar playing. I think he's fantastic. And I mean, you ask me another day and I might pick their first album, or I might pick 1984, but even Van Halen 2 is incredible, but this one is one that I really, really love. And I don't know how familiar you are with Van Halen, but
my dad's favorite band. I'm quite familiar.
but I really love this album. This is an incredible one. So that would be one I would want to have on a deserted island as well. So
that's a Van Halen album I thought you were going to pick, and it's interesting because you mentioned Romeo Delight, and that song does not get enough love.
It's kind of, for a lot of people, when they hear it, it's kind of a mess. It's not a really good structured song, and yet I absolutely love it. And my daughter and I, several years back, went and saw them in concert. And to me, for some reason, that's one of those songs that really stood out, that we had a really great time listening to. So there is a little bit of, I guess, an emotional connection with it as well, sentimental. So that's why I really love that song. So that's just a really great album by them, as so many are. And I feel like the Sammy Hagar years don't get enough love because the David Lee Roth years were so amazing.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. And Sammy Hagar is probably the better vocalist, but David Lee Roth was the man,
Yeah. Of the Van Halen studio albums, the only one I could really do without is Van Halen 3, for obvious reasons.
I don't even have it. It doesn't count for me. Honestly, I've only listened to it a couple times. So I don't even have it on CD.
Yeah. And Van Halen, I was actually introduced to Van Halen for Unlawful Kernel Knowledge, then 5150, and then 1984. Mm-hmm. So I learned about them completely out of the traditional way. And then I went.
Yeah, that's okay though. I started with Pretty Woman from Diver Down and had to work down from that. So I didn't, start off from the very first album. But I really love the song Pretty Woman, the Roy Orbison. They redid the Roy Orbison song Pretty Woman, and it blew me away. And it made me want to hear more from them. So I get what you're saying.
I love From Diver Down, no matter how cheesy. Happy Trails puts a smile on my face every time.
Yeah, it's just a happy little tune, Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. That one, my mom had a Diver Down on vinyl record as a kid.
Yeah.
I used to be able to play part of Hot for Teacher and Eruption but that ship's long sailed. I can't remember that very well.
It would take a lot of practice every day, I guess, huh?
That's an understatement for those those two specifically.
Mhm.
But all right, pick number 3. Just like with you, no particular order, but these are all killer, no filler albums. Another one of my favorites is Johnny Cash, and this is my favorite Johnny Cash album of his non-American recordings series, of his more traditional works, The Sound of Johnny Cash.
Okay. Well, I've never seen that album before. So,
Really? Okay. So this is the original mono pressing on the 6i Columbia label.
oh,
Um,
cool.
the biggest hit on this album is In the Jailhouse Now.
Okay.
But a lot of people know the songs Delia's Gone and I'm Free from the Chain Gang Now from the American Recordings series from Delia's Gone was, I believe, the first American Recordings, and I believe American Recordings 5 had I'm Free from the Chain Gang Now. But fantastic. And there's some couple early comp albums by Johnny Cash also featured in them Old Cotton Fields Back Home, which is another fun song. Not really a hit, but it was featured on some comps. So I guess it was a hit for the bigger diehard fans. I got this as a VCLT from Tunes from the Man Cave this past summer, and it blew me away. I've heard Johnny Cash before, but I hadn't heard Johnny Cash like this.
Very cool. That's a very nice gift. It's a beautiful record.
Oh yeah, and it plays perfectly, and I just love every freaking song on here. There's not a bad song on here, and I've said it about all of these records so far. But like seriously, like In the Jailhouse Now, yeah, I could sing every word to the fact that it's a hit, but just the way the opening track starts, Lost on the Desert, the burning hot sun, a cry for water, like you feel like you're like experiencing some of the hardships that are experienced or whatever is being talked about on here, or you feel like you're right there in the cotton fields with Johnny Cash, with them old cotton fields back home, and with him, with his mother, as he talks about on this song. It's just, you feel like you're with him on this song, an album. I mean, a lot of the earlier albums really, but like this one, like, and the way he tells a story, I mean, no one really can tell a story quite like Johnny Cash.
Yeah, he puts you in the picture with him, doesn't he? He's really good at that. So, and I love his voice, and I just love the way he sings and tells a story. The only albums I have of his are the Folsom Prison Blues, and then I forget the exact title, but it's Blue Train. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, the Johnny Cash All Aboard the Blue Train, or Johnny
Yes,
Cash.
All Aboard the Blue Train. I have that one too on Sun Records. So that one's really cool. But that's a beautiful record. That was a very nice gift to get a 6i. So
This was actually received in a trade. I sent him I don't remember if it's an original pressing or early pressing of Dolly Parton's Jolene, and I got this. So
well, nice. That was a good one. All right. My fourth choice is going to be a little bit different. You showed Abbey Road, and that one has been one that I have traditionally picked in the past. However, this is what I've been listening to lately.
okay.
Sergeant Pepper, and this is the mono version of it that I found at an antique store not that long ago, and it's actually selling for quite a bit of money. I paid $25 for it, which is what you would have paid for it if you bought it at a record store a few years ago. But now they're pretty much sold out, and they're not repressing them, so they're going up in value. And just having this mono pressing of it really raised my interest again in it. I honestly, though, I love the Giles Martin stereo version of it. I think it's really incredible, but I just love it. I love the Sergeant Pepper introduction song, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. A Day in the Life is just absolutely one of the most perfect songs. I really love it. And what's weird about the Beatles for me is I always appreciated them, but I didn't really get them until a few years ago. I grew up as a big Paul McCartney Wings fan, but I didn't really, because the Beatles came before me, I didn't really get into and go back and listen to 60s music because I grew up in the 70s. So just a few years ago, the Beatles finally clicked with me, why they're so great. And now I'm just an absolute huge fan. I feel like I've just discovered something really, really special in the last I just discovering the Beatles. So I really love this album, and it's just really hard because I love Magical Mystery Tour. I love the White Album. I think it's fantastic too. All of the later Beatles stuff. My daughter loves the early Beatles, and I love the stuff that came later on. So I love Sergeant Pepper, and this one is a beautiful mono press. It sounds absolutely wonderful. So
Which
I don't
year?
know if you know a lot about Sergeant Pepper or not, but it's absolutely wonderful.
No, I do. What year was that pressing from?
2014. It came out in 2014. It's an absolutely wonderful one. I'm kicking myself for not buying the vinyl box set. They had a mono box set that came out. It was white and black, and I wish I had bought it when it came out. Now it's so expensive, I'll probably never buy it. And I have about four of these 2014 pressings anyway. I have Rubber Soul, Revolver, Sergeant Pepper, and Beatles for Sale, all on mono. So I probably will never go and buy that box set now, but they really do sound good, and they did a great job on these pressings.
I'll have
So,
I'll have to I might have to get a modern pressing in mono because I have a 70s pressing of Sergeant Pepper on stereo, and then I have an original first pressing in mono. And upon first listening to the mono, I was really disappointed because I always hear so many great things about it. I was like,
I
huh. So I'm curious if it's the pressing or what it is. So I just need to give mono Sergeant a little bit more chance, but
Well, I really think that this particular one, it's straight from the analog tapes for one. I don't know if the 70s or 80s, what their source was, but this one came straight from the analog tapes. I feel like it's very punchy and it's really good. The only place where, like, I really like the stereo version by Giles Martin that came out in 2017.
that was great.
And I mean, I really think that one probably edges out any other pressing that I've ever heard because the song A Day in the Life, I love hearing the separation of the sound, and I think you hear it a little bit better in the stereo version.
Right.
But this one is very punchy, and I do really like how this sounds too. So whichever way you can go, you can still get the 2017 version for $25 in a record store,
Right.
but you can get this one on Discogs for probably about $150. It's gone up in value a lot. So I would say for the money, the Giles Martin version from 2017 is really, really good. But this is great too. So
Yeah, I have the stereo CD pressing of the Giles Martin 50th anniversary, but I don't have that one on wax.
I really love it on vinyl. I really can't say anything about the CD version because I don't know about it. I just know I love the vinyl version of it. It's very punchy too, like this one. But I just think the instruments in A Day in the Life, the separation of the instruments on this stereo version by Giles Martin is just absolutely incredible. But
Yeah,
this is good too. So either way, it's just a really good album, and that would be my next choice. So
without a doubt. All right. My next choice. So, anybody who's been following me for any extended period of time knows my grandfather has had a big influence on my musical
of
collection.
course, yes.
And there's like a solid like 3 to 5 albums of his collection just alone that if I had like the chance of choosing 10 or 20 desert island albums, they'd be there. However, I really had to choose this one, and it's one song alone that really does it. I believe, Melinda, you already know the story, and I think most people already know this story, so I don't need to explain it. But if anybody doesn't know the story behind this album or this song, send me a comment, and I'll send you a message or an email or whatever, and I could tell you the story. I just have said it a couple times on my channel, so I don't want to restate it again. But
Mhm.
it's Gene Watson's album, No One Will Ever Know.
Okay, yeah.
You know
Very
the story?
I think I watched it, but I think it's been a while back. But yes.
Yeah. So pretty much, I mean, the entire album is phenomenal.
Mhm.
However, specifically the song We Robbed Trains, which is my favorite song of all time.
Oh, yeah. That's very special then. If that's your favorite song of all time, that's really cool.
And Gene Watson was my grandfather's all-time favorite artist. Of course, we all have our favorites, but Gene Watson was his number one, just like the Beatles, Dream Theater, and all those are my number ones, just like the Beatles
Right.
are your number ones and all that. And
Yeah.
the song "We Robbed Trains," just in brief, is about a grandfather and a grandson, and it's about the grandchild from a young age listening to his grandparents' stories that they shared. And as they got older, the grandchildren were like, how much of this is nonsense or how much of this is real, but kept going and listening because that's what respect, I mean, if you don't, obviously. And then it goes on to explain how the grandparent has passed on. And, it's kind of reminds me of the situation with my grandfather. And it also, is a fantastic tune, and since it's my grandfather's favorite, was his favorite, and that was a song that he told me to look at before any other song. Like, it kind of struck a chord, whether
Mhm.
he did all that intentionally given his ailments, and I don't know, but it really kind of hit home. But everybody's heard about me talking about "We Robbed Trains." Let's talk about some of the other songs on this one. There's
Okay.
the two big hits off this album for Gene Watson was a song called "Raising Cain in Texas" and "No One Will Ever Know." Now,
What year did it come out?
this was 1980,
Okay.
and "No One Will Ever Know" was a cover song. I can't remember who did it originally, but I like his version better.
Mhm.
And then the "Raising Cain in Texas," that's just a fun opener for an album. Um, and I'll be raising Cain in Texas, I'll pulling trees in Tennessee or something like that. I don't remember what it was. I'm not doing good with my lyrical remembering that during this video.
Yeah, for some reason when the camera comes on, I forget lyrics. So
Yeah, so I don't know why I try, but so there's that. There's a fantastic tune called "Cold Day in July" on here, not to be confused with the song by the Dixie Chicks from their 1990s album "Fly." Um, there's a song called "Have a Good Day" on here, which is just a positive, have a good day kind of thing. And then it has the hit "No One Will Ever Know," as I mentioned, with the title track. But there's also a really good song here called "I've Been Down Some Roads," talking about just pretty much life and life experiences. And great shot of Gene Watson on the back too. And
still in Shrink.
yes, I've kind of taken the tunes from the man cave approach when it comes to shrink wrap. However,
I'm not on that one.
with my mom's, dad's, uncles, and grandfather's records, I want to keep them the way I got them. Unless the record is being destroyed in any way, shape, or form, if the jacket starts to bend over itself because the shrink wrap is starting to get tight over the years, I'm not really gonna
Right.
take it off. There's one or two records in my grandfather's collection where the shrink wrap is starting to get loose on the records, and it's becoming painful to get into the in and out of the external sleeve. So I might just say screw it and get it off because of that. But really, there was only one album that I have taken off the shrink wrap of any of those albums. It was a Linda Ronstadt album called Homegrown or Home Sewn or something like that. It was her first or second album, and the
Okay.
shrink wrap was pretty much completely off it anyway. So I just took it off. But that's
I'll
why
take the wrap off if it's yellowed or dirty. Then I'll take it off. Otherwise, I try to keep it on. I think a lot of people appreciate when the shrink wrap is still on there.
it definitely is nice to have the record look so clean. And I mean, obviously in the back cover, it's so white still. All
Yeah,
these
it
years
looks
later,
great.
which was
Very
fantastic.
nice.
But yeah, this is one of those records that are going to be going in the grave with me, pretty much.
Oh,
Like
yeah, that's one you'll always have and you will never get rid of. I get you. Yeah, that's cool.
I'll tell you, I'll have a disclaimer in my will. My kin can't get rid of any of these records.
All right, well, I'll show you my very final choice.
Ooh,
Dream Police by Cheap Trick.
nice.
I know. Are you thinking I should be Emma right now? I love her channel. I love her. She's so sweet. And she definitely knows more about Cheap Trick than I do. But, this is an album that I knew the hits from when I was young. But I recently, within the last year or so, just absolutely fell in love with the whole album. And I would definitely want this one with me. There's some really, I don't know a song on here I don't love. I love them all. Dream Police is obviously a huge one. The House is Rockin' is really cool. I really love the song Gonna Raise Hell. It's just absolutely one of my favorites, even though I've probably never raised hell a day in my life. More of a heck. I've raised heck, but I've never raised hell. But I just absolutely love the song. I love the bass on it. I love how it begins with the drums, goes into the bass. There's even an orchestral part to that song. And I love the way Robin Zander sings it. So it's one of my favorite songs of all time. I really love that one. Need Your Love is really great. Voices, I have that in my jukebox. I absolutely love that song. So this is just really a favorite for me. It's just been something that I have been listening to and really getting into a lot lately. So I just really love it. So I don't know how much you know about the Dream Police by Cheap Trick, but it's just an incredible album. My favorite by them. And I love the Budokan live album. I think it's really good too, but this is my favorite.
I mean, I know Cheap Trick just probably about as well as you. Emma knows Cheap Trick better than Cheap Trick themselves know Cheap Trick.
Yes, she probably knows them better than they know themselves, no doubt.
I had a Dream Police. That was one of my first records I ever had because it was in my dad's collection. So
okay, yeah.
And then all my other Cheap Trick records came in once I was introduced to Emma. I had Heaven Tonight on CD before Emma, but those were the only two I had. Actually, my mom had Lap of Luxury on CD as well, so I had those 3 Cheap Trick albums.
Yes, I love that one too. I do. I love the live version of The Flame better than I love their radio version of it. Okay. The way Robin Zander sings that is just absolutely incredible, and I love the meaning of it. So that's a beautiful song off of Lap of Luxury. So yeah. I really like that one too.
I really enjoy Lap of Luxury, and I had at Budokan on cassette at one point, and I don't know where to this day it went, but I have it now on vinyl record. Emma VCLT'd me it, so
that's nice. Yes, and that's a good one too. And there's some songs off of this album that are on Budokan, like Need Your Love is on there.
Yeah.
So that's a good album too. So, but I love this one. This one's just my very favorite. So, what is your last pick?
For anybody who's been watching my channel for a while, I'm sure you guys are very surprised that you haven't seen a specific band or album show up yet. Yeah, it's time. Dream Theater, Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from Memory.
Yeah.
And we were just actually talking. You were asking me about Dream Theater before we went on the air.
Yep.
A little bit of how I got introduced to Dream Theater and all that.
And that's a music on vinyl pressing, right?
Yep.
Very nice.
And it's a limited edition.
Most of the time, they're really good. I've only had one that I don't care for, but music on vinyl is incredible. Usually,
Metal Health will drive you mad, and also the music on vinyl pressing will drive you mad.
You have watched my channel. You do know which one that I just, for some reason, got a bum record. I don't know if it's just a fluke or if they were all bad, but anyway, go ahead with Dream Theater. Because
I must say, music on vinyl, this was a limited pressing for the 20th anniversary of this album because I saw them under 2019 20th anniversary for this tour under Distance Over Time tour, which is the album that came out in 2019. So they're promoting both.
So is that numbered?
It is numbered. It is. Where's the number now? Maybe it's not numbered.
If it's a limited edition, sometimes music on vinyl will do numbered pressings and other times they won't. So
I thought it was numbered, but I'm not seeing a number at the moment, so I guess it's not numbered. But it's of 5,000. But it had 5,000 of these pressed.
Okay, yeah.
And this is cool. The one. And this is exclusively this colored variant. They have their standard black version, and they have another music on vinyl pressing. But this one is orange and gold, and it was specifically sold, this copy, this color variant, only on the tour.
Oh, cool.
So it's cool. And
that a pretty exclusive color then, huh?
All right. I found the number of 5,000. Of 5,000, this is pressing number 2,213.
Okay.
Very nice. I've talked about the storyline of this. I've went into depth about this in the past, but you were
Right.
asking me about Dream Theater before we went on the air. Is there any questions or anything you want to know or anything about this album that I may or may not be able to answer?
I know that you mentioned that they started out in the 80s, which shocked me because I honestly, I remember hearing the name, but I just don't remember them. Did they have a really big hit in the 80s?
In the 80s, no. And actually, they only have one of their entire discography, only one radio hit.
What was
Um,
that?
it's a song called Pull Me Under, which is the first song on their album from 1991, Images and Words.
Okay, and that's when I was into Garth Brooks and the country stuff, so I probably never heard that one.
No. And it's funny, they have an album that they released, I want to say it was around 2003, so but sometime in the early 2000s. Um, the album is called Greatest Hit and Other Great Dream Theater Tunes or something like that because they only had one radio hit.
Okay, well,
Funny.
they've been very successful though. They've done very well, so.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's the one radio hit they had. And
And they're a prog band, right?
prog rock, prog metal, rock metal, they've been classified as all of the above.
Okay.
And, I feel like you'd appreciate this. I don't know if it'd be your daily listener, but I feel like you would definitely enjoy this and appreciate this album. And especially if you follow the storyline.
I do love prog. I mean, I know Styx has a little bit of a prog. They have some prog albums, and I love Styx. The Mission came out a few years ago. That's a prog album. There's some prog to it. And also Grand Illusion. There's some progginess in that one as well. So maybe I would like it.
It's definitely heavier than Styx, but
I definitely love German prog rock too. So
this is not German Prague. This is
right.
the United States. It's not Prague, but it's German metal. There's a band called Halloween that you may like.
I've heard of them, but I don't know them. So
Yeah, they have a great album called Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 1 and Part 2, which I would recommend. But
okay.
yeah.
What's your favorite off of here? What is your favorite off of Dream Theater that makes it your very favorite that you want? Well, I don't know if you did it in order, but one of them that you would want to have on the deserted island.
That I want.
Is there one, or is it just the whole album experience?
The whole album experience. This has my favorite Dream Theater song of all time on it called The Spirit Carries On.
Okay.
And that on top of being a sucker for a concept album, I love music that tells a story, just like all these other albums for the most part have a story within the exception of, I guess, Zeppelin. And well, actually, yes, Zeppelin kind of has some stories in there, some Lord of the Rings-esque stuff. So I guess really the only one that doesn't really tell a story is Abbey Road of all of these, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
This one tells and those have songs that tell stories, whereas this is an all-inclusive story within all the songs, which I really love. And I just love things that tell a story. Some of my songs I've written both fiction and nonfiction story stuff that's either based about my life or not based about, and those are some of my favorite tunes I've ever written. And also the musicality. I mean, as a keyboard player, Jordan Rudess, the keyboardist from 1999 to present day Dream Theater, is just a beast. The keys, just some of the stuff you hear in the song Dance of Eternity, which is an entirely instrumental song. 2 minutes into the piece, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, somewhere in there, you just get a piano ragtime solo.
Oh, that's cool.
In the middle of prog rock, and all this prog rock, which I just think is freaking cool and so unique.
I guess that inspires you with your piano playing when you hear that. Inspires you.
Yeah, and that piano ragtime solo is only about 30 seconds in length. But I'm telling you, I've been looking at that sheet music for nearly a year now and can barely do it. If you can master that piano solo, that 30-second piano solo, you can play near damn anything.
That's cool. Wow.
I am not the best pianist out there. I'm not the worst pianist out there, but I would like to say I'm pretty well off, but I can't play that. But yeah.
That's why he's in Dream Theater, right?
Yeah, not in my bedroom. Uh, but yeah, just the musicality, because I mean, there's also the thing is a lot of musicians nowadays don't necessarily play instruments, or there's just a beat to their music, with nothing wrong against that stuff too. I enjoy some of that as well.
Yeah.
But I just love how Dream Theater is playing their instruments. They know how to play it. They know how to do it well. They can jam well. They could do this well. And John Petrucci, the guitarist, will melt your face with anything he plays on guitar.
Awesome.
So
Okay, well, I guess we've got our top 5 deserted island picks, right?
yeah, and I know that everybody was probably waiting for me to play the Dream Theater one. So
I kind of suspected it was a good possibility, but I wasn't for sure. But yeah, makes sense.
yeah, that is easily one of my, if not the favorite album of all time for me.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, it's been really great talking to you and having a discussion about our favorite albums. So that's really cool. So
Absolutely, I'm glad to have you, and thank you for stopping by. And I look forward to it going live when I post it, and seeing everybody's reactions and seeing what their favorite album of choices from ours, or their own choices for this idea.
yeah.
Thanks once again for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next Final Record video. If you don't know who Melinda is, you better check her out. Otherwise, I'll have to come after you.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.